thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And we have a good first question. Well, I'll start out.
Okay.
So I have a question about the charity work that you are doing
Yes.
with the university, which I assume is connected with your experience with Dances with Wolves.
That's right.
Can you talk a little bit about how you got involved with that?
Yes, I'd love to. St. Gleska University is on the Rosebud Reservation in South Dakota. And when I was doing Dances with Wolves, the woman who was my language coach, all of our language coaches, she taught us Lakota. She helped us translate English to Lakota, Lakota to English, so that we were acting in a language that we understood. And she's a wonderful woman named Doris Leader-Charge, and she was involved in St. Gleska at the time, so that was a very long time ago, right? So that's how I heard about it, and I met people who were instrumental in its founding. I went to see it. And then years later, now, through a series of really interesting events, I got back in touch with these people, and I decided to kind of dig my heels in to help continue the dream of some people who were very important to me. I mean, that movie changed my life, so to me, it's I finally have the time and that room and the hopefully position to make a difference. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. It's providing an education to people who would never have the opportunity to go away to college. And recently, a bunch of my fans, who are just amazing, did a fundraiser for St. Gleska on my birthday, and then I matched their donation, and they used it at St. Gleska to begin a daycare center for their students, because they never had one before, and a lot of their students can't afford daycare. I mean, we're all very aware of the situations on reservations in the United States, and to me, the pain of that is ongoing, the awareness of it, the vitality around this university and its integrity is so extraordinary. And one of the very first things they did was they hired a daycare teacher to teach the little ones Lakota from the time they can move around. So owning the self-esteem of the language is a primary pillar inside that university. If you go on their website, which I can't recite right now because it was on a piece of paper that I didn't bring from home, but if you Google St. Gleska, do we know the website, Mina?
Yeah, you guys should have been given the information about.
You guys have
Yes,
the
we
website,
have it.
don't
You
you?
guys,
Okay.
they got that information.
That's great. Go on and take a look, because it's so moving and beautiful what's going on there. And the president, Lionel Bordeaux, has been there since the beginning, and he is a truly brilliant, educated Native American man who is also committed to nation building. So it's an all-encompassing movement is kind of how I see this school. And I want to help continue it and make it possible for more and more and more Native Americans to attend, if possible.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I know that was a bit long-winded.
No,
Well,
no.
www.stgleska.com.
Your character on Major Crimes has really evolved from when you started on the closer. So what's it been like playing in that progression?
It's really been an extraordinary task as an actor to bring a character from antagonist to protagonist, and to be able to do it with the full support of a writing staff that assured me they would not try to push her into being likable. Do you know what I mean? I said, it's not going to work, first of all. First of all, we loved to hate her, so do I really want to give that up? Do you know what I mean? I was like, what? That was fun. Right. So the idea of the respect of that situation from the writing staff, to me, is the news here as an actor. I've been doing this for a long time, and I've never had to turn someone outward. And I've never had to sort of trust a slow blossoming and not adorn it and discipline myself. We were also very disciplined in it. And that's, I think, why it worked. obviously it worked because of the character of Rusty. I mean, structurally, the introduction of that character was the way to begin to, you know, people say, wow, she's really changed. I don't think she's changed a minute. It's just that we only saw her in one capacity, and her whole commitment is to not get attached to those police, to internal affairs, to not go around saying, like me, I'm nice. They're you know, that's what they, I'm sure they're perfectly nice people at home. Do you know what I mean? So it was like, wow, she's changed. I said, no, she kind of always had a wonderful life. You just didn't know about it.
Speaking about Rusty, yours and Graham's relationship is just amazing on
Thank you.
on screen.
Yeah.
How does that play into softening her? You know,
Mhm.
I think he does soften her, gives her the home aspect, and
Yeah.
us to be able to love the character and hate the character.
Yes. Yes.
But your dynamics are amazing. So
Well, we have great chemistry, and,
Mhm.
and that's what you always hope for, because then half your job is done. You know, James Duff is very smart at casting, so he knew that that would work. The way that I think Rusty has softened Sharon is his needs as a young man have allowed her compassion to emerge. And so, you know, those two events coming together is what blossomed Sharon. And now we're going into a whole new territory, you know what I mean? Because things are good, and obviously he's adopted, and so if anything happens to him, we'll be okay, and, you know. Now my family's coming into the picture, and it's getting all kinds of fun, you know, so I'm very excited.
Speaking of great chemistry, you obviously had great chemistry with Edward James Olmos.
Yeah.
And was that something that was sort of instantaneous? And did that chemistry influence what they did with your characters and the relationship those characters had?
Yes, it definitely did, because if you remember, we started out like this. Now, Edward and I have worked together once for like 2 milliseconds in a movie where I think I came in to play the female judge in the movie for, what was that, Showtime or TNT of 12 Angry Men. And he was one of the characters. But Billy Friedkin said, oh, I want the judge to be a woman. Will you do it? And I said, sure. So I was in the mood for 2 seconds. Ed was in the cast, and we finally met. And we said that day, oh, we have to work together. Roll forward, I don't know how many years. And Battlestar Galactica came up. So we knew we were going to love each other, so that wasn't a question. But what did happen was that we really truly had such a deep respect for each other. They started to write into it. I'm not sure Ron Moore ever intended for them to fall in love. You know what I mean? And I never want to put them on the spot when we're doing a panel or anything. Say, did you really? No. But I'm not sure that was structured originally to go that way. And so that sort of did evolve out of them looking at it going, this would be quite poignant. So I just brought Edward to a party on Raleigh for Major Crimes last week, and I didn't tell them I was bringing him. And there's so many Battlestar fans on the Major Crimes set, so it was very fun. I got a little schizophrenic, but everybody else had a really good time. But Eddie's a great guy, and he's great to work with. I loved it, yeah. I'm sure you've met him, right? Yeah.
Last year.
Last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Battlestar is such a great and timeless story and show. I mean, they've done it twice, and now there's going to be a movie and everything, and so it's just such a great show. When you were on it, like, what do you miss from that particular experience, or what was the best, what was your favorite part there?
There's so many things that I miss about Battlestar. The obvious things are the cast and the crew, you know. But the second thing is that because we shot in Vancouver, we didn't shoot it in Hollywood. So we really, truly were separate from the riffraff. And there was something so beautiful about that. We were just up there in the snow and the rain and the cloudiness, and we'd show up and walk onto the ship, and we'd be there all day and come back out and it'd be dark. And there was just something so bright about it. And the ship was amazing. The set was incredible. I mean, I literally spent the first 2 months, I couldn't find my way to lunch. If I didn't go with someone, I ended up around and around. And you know, I didn't get a tour of the set before my first day. I just got up there and da-da. So the next week I came back up to work for 2 weeks straight, and I was on my way out to go to my trailer, and I got lost, and I'm suddenly turned the corner and like, this is really cool. And there's like bunk beds and sinks and everything, and I think, who lives here? Because we didn't know yet. Do you know what I'm saying? And then I think the first time I saw it on the screen is when they had the big poker game, you know. And then we had a little bit of trouble with Colonial 1, because Colonial 1 was very hard to light, as it turns out, and it got a little hard to vary what you did in there. But then when it became apparent that, you know, Rosalind and Adama actually didn't mind hanging out, so the idea of me visiting him in his fancy quarters was okay, you know. So I love the set. I absolutely love the set, and I loved being in Canada. Our writers were really unique, and because the writers' room was actually in LA, they would just, Ron would fly out, the production would fly, whatever writers were doing a current episode, they would fly in and be with us for the episode. So that was another thing. We never got to take each other for granted, ever. And I love the diversity in the cast. People from England, people from India, you know, we were all over the place. So those are just some of the few.
That's great. Well, I confess, if I was ever going to take a studio tour, I would have loved to see the ship.
I know.
That sounds so great.
I know. And I haven't been to the Battlestar Museum. Has anybody been in Seattle?
No.
There's a museum, so I'm not really sure what's there. I was supposed to go for the opening, but I was shooting something, so I couldn't. But if that ship was truly amazing. I did love that. And you know, really, literally, like when I was on Colonial 1 too, I'd be there all day, and when I looked out the window, I would see stars. And you forget that you're on a soundstage. You know what I mean? And then if I got out before it was light and dark and I came out and it was light outside, it was completely mind-blowing. It's like, oh right, I wasn't really in the sky. Do you know what I mean? Oh my God, I really wasn't in the sky. I thought I was in the sky. I thought I was in the sky. It was so much fun to imagine, you know, really, really fun. And we did some green screen, but it wasn't that often. So you didn't have to like do that too much. You could believe, they created an environment that you really could believe that you were there. That control room on the Battlestar was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
So was it hard to surrender Colonial 1 to James Callis?
No. Actually, it was hard to surrender my people and my situation to James Callis, but not all hard. You can have some time on this plane. I'm going to be on the ground. I'm going to be on a planet for a while. Enjoy yourself. James, I love him so much. He's such a good guy.
Well, while we're reminiscing about, you know, Star Galactica, what was your favorite episode to film?
I don't know if I have a favorite, honestly. Although there was something about 33, which was episode number 3, season 1 or something, right at the beginning. I believe it was episode number, or maybe it was episode number 1. It was not the pilot. It was not episode number 2, because I remember that one. But it was, you know, 33 was the one where we really set up the idea that we were being pursued. And the idea of having to jump every 33 minutes was, I think I liked it because we discovered, when we were shooting that episode, we discovered the anxiety of the experience. And once we had that established, it was a key note to the whole symphony. It was sort of, had we not shot 33 right in the beginning, I'm not sure Battlestar would have been quite what it was. So.
You've played some amazing roles. And you're here at Dragoncon. I've
Yeah.
been here before. And some wonderful cosplay and great fans.
Yeah.
And the fans are just amazing. As you know, we follow you in several things. What would you cosplay or dress up as? I'd love to know.
You mean in one of my characters or
No,
someone
no,
else's?
what would you?
I would do
Yeah.
all of Meryl Streep's characters.
One of each con.
One of these guys that became as Meryl in one of her. You know why I said that? Because I did a production of. I just have to think of this for a second. What was I playing? It was a Willa Cather novel, and I did it with my husband, and we filmed it for PBS. The Willa Cather novel about Alexandra out on the plains. Oh, what's it called?
I know what
I
you're
know.
talking about, and I know
This
what
is
we're talking
ridiculous. I
about.
don't even know my own life. But anyway.
I will look it up for you.
Yeah, look it up. So you can quote me. But the thing that was funny about it was the wig that I wore was a redo of Meryl Streep's wig from French Lieutenant's Woman. Remember that wig, all that red?
Yeah, all that hair.
And they redid it for me. It was the same wig man. So I actually have cosplayed Meryl. There you are.
One more question.
Mhm.
I liked your. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no.
I was gonna say I liked your little stint on Grey's Anatomy. I thought that
Thank
was. I saw you come on as the character, and I was just like, look, you know. I was very
Yeah.
excited. But I thought that was an excellent job portraying someone who's got a lot of social difficulty. Was there
Thank
something
you.
you had to do to prepare for
I
that?
did,
How-
yeah.
Okay.
Shonda Rhimes called me to ask me to come in and do 3 episodes of this heart surgeon with Asperger's. And she said, the only thing is it shoots in 2 weeks. And I said, I can't. I would feel, she goes, no, don't worry. I've got all this stuff set up for you. So the next day I was at UCLA, and I was spending the day with a group of UCLA students who have Asperger's, and they're on a special program there, and they live together, and they opened their lives up to me, and I spent some very serious time with these people, and they were amazing and moving and brilliant, and they would tell me these things, and I was like, I couldn't believe what these people knew, individually and collectively. And they were such lovely young people. But what they also taught me was the struggle, and they taught me a tremendous amount about both the subtle and the extremes of the behavior that particular situation creates. So I'm a pretty fast learner. I've got a pretty quick learning curve when it comes to behavioral things and speech patterns, stuff like that. So he's been good at it. So by the time we shot, I felt like I had something authentic that I'd learned. Otherwise, I couldn't have done it in that amount of time. But
I
she
thought it was
challenged me,
excellent. Yeah.
and I like a challenge.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, thank you, and thank you for asking about and writing about Sinta-Glasgow. This is really an important thing, and it's going to be beautiful over the years to be able to help. And my fans are already on board. I mean, literally, they're trying to figure out an entire sort of fundraising, sort of solid, ongoing thing that we can create together. So this is new territory for me with the fans, and I'm excited.
That's great. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
for
you
your time.
so much for
And
doing
it was,
this.
It was Oh Pioneers.
I was gonna say I
Thank
looked it up,
you.
yeah, it was so pioneers.
Oh my God, I can't believe
We
I did it with my husband. I should remember this. Anyway, thank you again.